Hi everybody, we are learning to program in Python computer language. Like a regular computer language, Python provides many ways to control and specify how values, especially numbers, should display to the user. For this exercise, we will use Microsoft Visual Studio. So, start Microsoft Visual Studio. In the Visual Studio 2022 dialog box, click Create a new project. In the Create a new project dialog box, in the Languages combo box, select Python. In the list of project templates, click Python application. It should be selected already. Click Next. Specify the project name as Payroll Evaluation 2. Set the path to anything you want. Click Create. Here's the code we will use. We start by displaying a few accessory lines as the title of the application. Then we prepare to request some values from the user. We request a first name, then we request a last name, then we request the hourly salary. Our timesheet will cover 2 weeks. So we start by requesting values for the first week. We request value for the time worked on Monday, the time worked on Tuesday, the time worked on Wednesday, the time worked on Thursday, and the time worked for Friday of the first week. Then we request values for the second week. We will request the value for the time worked on Monday, then the time worked on Tuesday, then the time worked on Wednesday, then the time worked on Thursday, and finally the time worked on Friday. To get the time worked for the first week, we will add the time worked for Monday of the first week, Tuesday of the first week, Wednesday of the first week, Thursday of the first week, and Friday of the first week. In the same way, we will add the time worked for Monday of the second week, Tuesday of the second week, Wednesday of the second week, Thursday of the second week, and Friday of the second week to get the total time worked for the second week. When we start our calculation, we will assume that the user worked a regular time. For the first week, we consider that the regular time is the same as the time worked. The overtime is set to 0. The regular pay is gotten by multiplying the hourly salary by the time worked for the first week. The overtime pay is 0. We do the same for the second week. To perform the calculation, in case the user worked over 40 hours, we consider that the user worked overtime. To perform the calculations, we use an if conditional statement, in which case we consider that in case the user worked overtime, we consider that the user worked more than 40 hours for the week. To do the calculations, we use an if conditional statement. So we ask if the user worked over 40 hours. In this case, the regular time is set to 40. The overtime is gotten by subtracting 40 from the time worked for the first week. For the regular pay, we multiply the hourly salary by 40. And for the overtime pay, we first multiply the hourly salary by 1.5 to consider the user worked time and a half, and we multiply that value by the overtime, and that gives us the overtime pay. We perform the calculation the same way for the second week. Then, to get the pay for the first week, we add the regular pay of the first week to the overtime pay of the first week. We do the same for the second week. And to get the final net pay, we add the net pay for the first week to the net pay of the second week. The rest of the application is used to display a pay summary. To test the application, if you are using Microsoft Visual Studio, on the main menu, you click Debug, Start without debugging. That brings a DOS window. As the first name is requested, I type a first name. I press enter. I type a last name. I press enter. I type the hourly salary. And I press enter. Now I will put the time worked for each week. For Monday of first week, I type 7 and I press enter. Tuesday of first week, I type 8 and I press enter. Wednesday of first week, I type 6.5 and I press enter. Thursday of first week, I type 8.5 and I press enter. Then Friday of first week, I type 7.5 and I press enter. For the second week, for Monday, I type 9.5 and I press enter. For Tuesday of the second week, I type 8.5 and I press enter. For Wednesday, I type 10.5, I press enter. Thursday, I type 9, I press enter. And Friday, I type 8 and I press enter. And the application shows the result. To close the DOS window, I press any key. That's the end of our exercise. The link for the code is provided in the description. Thank you. I type the hourly salary and I press enter. For the time worked, for Monday I type 9 and I press enter. For Tuesday I type 8.5 and I press enter. For Wednesday I type 10.5 and I press enter. For Thursday I type 9.5 and I press enter. And for Friday I type 10 and I press enter. Once again, the application shows a summary of the calculations. Notice that this time we have overtime. To close the DOS window, I press any key. So that was an introduction to Python. You will find a link for the code in the description section. Thank you.